Hi everyone, my name is Kaustubh Kale. Hope you guys are doing fabulous. So, what exactly is this asset allocation? During financial planning and in personal finance, you must have heard a lot of times people talking about asset allocation, asset allocation. We generally even say that if market falls make you jittery, then asset allocation is a problem. Now, what exactly is it asset allocation? Let us try and understand the process over here. So the process is pretty simple. आपके जो भी लार्ज फंड रिक्वायरमेंट्स है जहां पे लार्ज परचेसेस आएंगे उसको नोट डाउन कीजिए. All these purchases which cannot be funded from your monthly salary, write it down and try and go as far as possible. So as near as say 1 month to as far as 10, 15, 20 years until retirement. Basically write down your large fund requirement. So basically this has to be a table where you will have purpose of the fund and when will you require it. डिपेंडिंग ऑन दिस यू विल बकेट इट मतलब क्या कि आपके कुछ फंड रिक्वायरमेंट शायद नेक्स्ट 1 ईयर में हो सकते हैं, कुछ नेक्स्ट 3 ईयर्स में हो सकते हैं, कुछ नेक्स्ट 5 ईयर्स में, 10 ईयर्स में, 15 ईयर्स में, 20 ईयर्स में. सो बेस्ड ऑन दिस मेक अ बकेट. नाउ आफ्टर यू हैव मेड दिस बकेट योर इन्वेस्टमेंट वैल्यू और रादर योर इन्वेस्टेड वाला जो अमाउंट है वो अलग अलग बकेट में जाएगा एंड उसके लिए अलग अलग व्हीकल्स चूज करने होंगे. टू गिव यू एन एग्जांपल, एनी फंड रिक्वायरमेंट that is say in the next 5 years cannot be invested in equities. That's a thumb rule that we generally follow, that we generally recommend. So this is how you will try and make your asset allocation table. Now, what is important also here is that depending on your age, again, this asset allocation will differ. For example, for someone who's very young, he may not have a very high percentage of his assets in low risk, low return safe assets, but for someone who's old or maybe retired, he will need to have a lot of this significant percentage into low risk, low return, highly liquid and safe assets. That is regarding the age factor. So this was asset allocation. Now, typically there are two buckets. Just to understand के layman के perspective में तो दो bucket होते हैं. एक bucket होता है low risk, low return, generally very liquid, but not inflation beating वाला assets. Second bucket होता है slightly higher risk, higher return, inflation beating assets. Now, what is important is while you're doing this asset allocation का process, you have to account for inflation. To give you an example, assume that अगर मेरा घर खर्चा, my household expenses is 30,000 today. In 7 years, this is likely to go to 60,000 per month, and in 20 years, maybe this will grow to 2,40,000 per month. So depending on this, you will have to make a bucket because you will also have to account for inflation in case of assets or large purchases where you will require the money 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the line. So this was pretty much about asset allocation. Make a table. When is your fund requirement? Sorry, what is your fund requirement? When is it required? What is the purpose of the funds? And depending on this table, you will have to divide your buckets or rather divide your assets and your investments. Thank you so much, everyone. This was about asset allocation.